The complete smart room system installation includes the installation of hardware components and the configuration of software components. This video will cover the configuration of software components. By the end of this video, you will know how to perform the software configuration for the smart room system for Microsoft Lync. The software configuration occurs when you turn the system on for the first time. When you first turn on the system, there will be a lengthy waiting period while the system configures itself. This period can last up to 45 minutes. Your first configuration will be the language. The system does not default on any specific language, so select the language you want. You will then be asked to create your administrator credentials. Create a username, computer name, and a password. Do not leave the password field blank, and avoid creating a password that requires the Alt key. Remember, there is no password recovery tool, so ensure you keep a record of your administrator credentials. You will then set the date and time for the system. Note that the date and time must match the date and time on the Lync server. Then the system will reboot as part of its configuration process. This reboot can take several minutes. When the administrator login appears, enter the administrator credentials you created a few moments ago. The system will reboot again as part of its configuration process. You will be asked to enter your administrator credentials again. The Smart End User License Agreement will appear. Read the End User License Agreement and click Accept. Then the conferencing microphone configuration box appears. Regardless of the system size, select Use the Table Microphone. All smart room systems now ship with table microphones, and there are no plans to use the camera microphones. Following that, you may be prompted for many items at once. First, address the dialog box titled First Things First. This will confirm your preferred settings for receiving updates. We suggest you use the recommended settings. A dialog box will appear prompting you to check the display settings. Click OK. You will then be prompted to configure the display layout. Position the control console to the right of the interactive display. Make the control console your main display by clicking its thumbnail and then selecting Make this my main display. Ensure you configure the displays correctly before you click OK. When you click OK, the system will reboot to implement the settings you've selected, as well as configure a number of Lync settings. When you enter your administrator credentials again, another End User License Agreement will appear. Read it and click Accept. The screen will open on the Lync Settings page. You will notice a column of settings pages to the left of the screen. We recommend turning on Quality Control and Event Login. This is an especially good thing to do in case you need support later on. Scroll up and begin entering your Lync Room account credentials, including your username, SIP URI, and password. Note that there are two formats your username can take, depending on how your Lync server is configured. To set the system settings, click System Settings. Click Network Connections and right-click Local Area Connection, and then click Status. Ensure that you have an internet connection. Click Close. To check the Web Update settings, click Web Updates. The system is set to check for updates through the Microsoft Updates server. Click Password Renewal. We recommend turning Auto Renewal Password off. Once you have completed these steps, click Apply and Restart. You will see a black screen for a while, followed by a screen with the Lync logo. These will each take a few minutes to pass. Then the system will open in user mode. The spinning circle you see here indicates the system's attempt to connect to the Exchange server and retrieve the room calendar. When it connects to the Exchange server, the room calendar will appear. In the bottom left-hand corner, you should see the room name. You should also be able to see Meet Now in the bottom right side. If these logos are visible, it means the smart room system is connected to the Lync server. Select the Options, Settings to return to the Lync Room System Administrator screens and check for updates before continuing with the remainder of the smart room system setup process. When you select Check for Updates, the system should connect to a server containing the Lync Room System updates. The smart room system will then restart. The system will then download and apply the updates. This may take several hours to complete before you can finish the system setup process. If the system reports that no updates are available, check what version is reported as the current version. If the current version of your Lync Room system software is currently below 15.12.02, you can be certain that there are updates available. The system may not be able to connect to the server containing the Lync Room system updates. Make sure that the system has an active network connection with internet access and try again. Once the updates are complete, on the console, select Options, Settings, and return to the System's Administrator Settings screen. Check the Lync license status. If your Lync client license is not already activated, you can activate your Network Lync client license automatically from your Network Keys Management server or by manually entering a Lync client multiple activation key provided by your network administrator. Now access the OEM settings, Smart Settings, to validate and configure the physical system hardware. Click Smart Room System Settings. Set the business hours. The system will only enter the power saving mode outside of business hours. When you are at the Smart Settings home screen, click Smart Hardware Settings. This page will list the hardware included in the system. When viewing the list of connected smart hardware, if you are using a G5 series interactive flat panel display, but it does not appear in the list of connected smart hardware, make sure that the Lync Room System software version has been updated to 15.12.02 or above. The G5 series interactive flat panel displays will not be detected by any earlier system software version. When you touch one of the large interactive flat panels, its status indicator icon on the console will momentarily change to a blue color as seen here. This will help you identify which physical panel is which in the list displayed on the console. When you have identified the interactive flat panel for which you want to calibrate the touch system, access its advanced settings and press the Calibrate button. When the calibration screen appears on the wrong display, press the spacebar on the attached keyboard to change to the next display. Follow the instructions displayed on screen to calibrate and orient this display's touch system. If your specific system model includes two large interactive flat panel displays, repeat this process for the second display's touch system. Now when you touch the displays, you should see a visual indication at your touch location. This will confirm that the touch system calibration and orientation is correct. Click Smart Camera and then click Preview. Select the power line frequency appropriate for your country. 60 Hz for North America and 50 Hz for Europe. The wrong power line frequency will affect the visual quality of the video. You can then adjust the pan, tilt, and zoom features to your preferences. Note that the more you zoom in, the more this will degrade video quality. When the camera configuration is complete, select OK. If you have completed your smart hardware configuration, press OK. Then press Apply and Restart to save all changes. After restarting, your smart room system from Microsoft Lync is ready to use. This reboot can take several minutes. When the administrator login appears, enter the administrator credentials you created a few moments ago. The system will reboot again as part of its configuration process. There's no password recovery tool, so ensure you keep a record of your administrator credentials. You will then set the date and time for the system. Note that the date and time must match the date and time on the Lync server. Then the system will reboot as part of its configuration process. Language, so select the language you want. You will then be asked to create your administrator credentials. Create a username, computer name, and a password. Do not leave the password field blank, and avoid creating a password that requires the Alt key. Remember, the complete smart room system installation includes the installation of hardware components and the configuration of software components. This video will cover the configuration of software components. By the end of this video, you will know how to perform the software configuration for the smart room system for Microsoft Lync. The software configuration occurs when you turn the system on for the first time. When you first turn on the system, there will be a lengthy waiting period while the system configures itself. This period can last up to 45 minutes. Your first configuration will be the language. The system does not default on any specific